In this episode, we talk about the Trinamool Congress coming back to power in West Bengal once again, despite talks about anti-incumbency. We also talk about China congratulating PM Modi on NDA's win. But first, we talk about BJP's first ever triumph in Odisha. Hi, I am Niharika Nanda, and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. The Naveen Patnaik-led Biju Janata Dal, after successfully governing the state for 24 years, lost control to the BJP, which won 78 out of 147 seats in the state assembly elections, announced on Tuesday. In a remarkable victory, the BJP also decimated the BJD in the Lok Sabha polls by winning all but one seat, which went to the Congress party. Defeated by the BJP in his bid for the sixth consecutive term in power, which would have made him the longest-serving CM in the country, Naveen Patnaik was facing challenges regarding his authority over the state. In its effort to win, the BJP centered its campaign around Patnaik's close aide and now party leader, VK Pandian, emphasizing his Tamil origin. To discuss this defeat in greater detail, my colleague Flora Swain is joined by Indian Express's Sujit Bisoyi and veteran journalist Sandeep Sahu.
Let's discuss with what exactly happened, because I think the exit poll numbers predicted whatever for the entire country and they all went out of the window, but they got it right with Odisha. So tell us about the numbers in Odisha, Sujit.
Well, Flora, as you know, the results are almost out now. The pictures are very, very clear now. BJP has a clear majority by winning 78 of total 147 seats in the assembly, and it has swept the Lok Sabha polls by winning 20 out of 21 seats, leaving just one for the Congress. As far as BJD is concerned, that was the dominating political force in Odisha in the past 2 decades, has reduced to 51 number, and it drew a complete blank in the Lok Sabha. As far as Congress is concerned, they have slightly improved their position compared to 2019 when they won just 9 seats. This time they have won 14 seats. As far as independent and other parties are concerned, the left has retained its western and Sundargarh's Bonai assembly constituency. It's a mineral-rich area, and the 3 independent candidates have won this time. All 3 are BJP rebels as such, and one of them have already met Dharmendra Pradhan after his victory, is most likely to join, and 2 others are also, in my opinion, they'll also soon be part of the BJP.
Sandeep, ever imagined this day would come where, Naveen Patnaik, he's for 5 long terms, he's been winning it all. Did you see this coming somewhere, the BJP? Because, there were talks of an alliance first, and then, those fell through. Did you somewhere see this coming?
Honestly, no. I saw the sweep of the Lok Sabha polls, and I also could see that there is a groundswell of anger and dissatisfaction against the BJD regime. But I didn't imagine it would be of such a sweeping nature that it will sweep the government of 24 years out of power. I imagined they will do extremely well. The BJP will do extremely well in the Lok Sabha election. That was very visible. And even in the last election in 2019, we saw a split voting where the people opted for the Modi regime at the center. But when it came to voting for the assembly, they expressed their overwhelming support for the Naveen Patnaik government. But this time it was visible that there was some resentment against Naveen Patnaik, especially the rise of Mr. VK Pandian, who overshadowed every other issue and every single person in the BJD. And the way he was projected, the way he ran the entire campaign himself, even pushing Naveen Patnaik to sidelines at times. And there was no one to be seen on the dais when he was campaigning. Even the local candidates, they were not allowed to speak to the crowd. That didn't go down very well with the people. And people, of course, Naveen Patnaik still retains his popularity, and he remains the most popular leader even now after losing. But the fact that he projected Pandian left the reins of the party and the campaign entirely to Pandian, that didn't go down well with the people, and it was visible during the campaign itself. It was visible, and we expected some backlash against the BJD regime, but never imagined that it will be of such a strong nature that it will sweep the party in power for 24 hours years out of power.
Absolutely. Speaking of the resentment, Sujit, we spoke about, we spoke a couple of days ago. You said that you had been doing ground reports and there was a backlash. You could feel the anger in the people. But at the same time, in hindsight now, you are saying that the love and the reverence and the respect for Naveen Patnaik is still intact, right?
Yes, absolutely, Flora. As Sandeep Babu has rightly mentioned, and what I have seen during my visit to several constituencies, uh, people had no issue at all regarding the style of governance or the about development. They said Naveen Patnaik has done a lot of works. They have absolutely no issue at all with as far as Naveen Patnaik's leadership is concerned. But there was a clear visible anger, especially among the informed voters, over the growing influence of VK Pandian, Naveen Patnaik's once his private secretary and now a BJP leader, prominent BJP leader. And this Pandian's emergence basically grew after post-COVID pandemic when Patnaik mostly confined himself into the Naveen Nivas's residence. And the BJP leaders, senior leaders, including Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah, and leaders like Assam CM, who's known for his fierce and communal speech, they tried to develop a narrative that Pandian is someone who is trying to take control of the state, and they held him responsible for everything, like all negative things in Orissa, and they choose emotional issues like Ratnamandar's key missing keys. They link to Pandian. Then over about Naveen's falling health, Prime Minister himself indicated that it's a conspiracy, and he indirectly took a dig at Pandian that he might have as a hand in that.
You rightly mentioned, this time it was the Odisha Asmita that made people stand up and say that no, we are not going to have it. A Tamilian who they saw as an outsider, the electorate saw as an outsider, will not lead 4 crore Odias, because then you are giving out that narrative that in Odisha there is no one else who can lead us. So that narrative was building, and that was the dissatisfaction. But at the same time, if you see the way Pyari Mohan Mohapatra was casted off overnight, even though he was a right-hand man of Naveen, he was casted off overnight. Naveen has been very, shrewd and cunning when it comes to all his rivals. He's negated all of the threats. But why because we all know it that Naveen did not depend on one person for anything. No one was his confidant, no one was his guide, no one was his friend per se. He, not with an iron fist, but he had a very good grip on the BJP. But what made Pandian such a favorite with Naveen?
First of all, the alleged coup attempt by Pyari Mahapatra. That is the period when he started banking on his private secretary. Mr. Pandian was the private secretary at the time when the so-called revolt took place, which of course never succeeded. Naveen managed to bring things back under his control. But that is the time when he started depending on his private secretary more and more. In any case, Naveen Patnaik has never really been a hands-on administrator or hands-on party leader. He has always needed the support of someone who will manage party affairs, who will manage the nitty-gritty of administration on his behalf. At one point of time, for about 10, 12 years, it was Pyari Mohan Mahapatra. And after the fallout with the Pyari Babu, then it became, Pandian became more and more important. He had caught the attention of the chief minister when he was collector in Ganjam, which is the home district of Naveen Patnaik. And he had done some great work as collector of Mayurbhanj, and then after that, as collector of Ganjam. That's when he caught the attention of the chief minister, and the chief minister got him in his secretariat as the private secretary to himself. But obviously, he is a very smart operator, Mr. Pandian. He is a very efficient officer who handles many jobs. He can handle many jobs at the same time, multitasking and kind of officer. And he proved his efficiency while he was private secretary to the chief minister, who in any case never really had the stomach for running the administration himself. So gradually, this man made himself indispensable for the chief minister. The chief minister came to rely on him more and more to not just run the affairs of the state government, but also the party.
BJP did not bring out any other issues. They just drove home the emotional narrative about the CM's health and succession and how Pandian as an outsider was taking over in Jagannath. So I'm sure, though he was not the only reason, from being the party's biggest asset to now being a big part of its downfall, do you think that it's been an ironic journey for Pandian himself?
To be fair to Pandian, he proved himself as a man who delivers. And in any case, he is now 77. So obviously, physically, he's not what he was maybe 5 years or 10 years.
Yeah. Naveen Patnaik is 77-year-old man now. Yeah.
He needs help to move around. That's why he has cut down on his public appearances in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So once the physical, his health started failing, that's when his dependence on Pandian increased manifold. He was always dependent, of course, but simultaneously, what happened is because of his failing health and because of his continued dependence on Pandian, the access of other people, like his ministers, like his MLAs, other party leaders, or even top bureaucrats like the chief secretary, like the director general of police, gradually he left Pandian to sort out all those issues related to the running of the administration and troubleshooting within the party.
But what happens to the BJD now, Sandeep? What will be BJD's story?
Naveen, I think, will retreat even further from public eye now on. And what will happen is Pandian will have a tough time, very difficult time from now on. And as I see it, now that he has been thrown out of power and he has to be in the opposition, ideally, he should have become the leader of the opposition. But I, frankly speaking, having seen him all those years, I don't really see whether a chief minister who never went to assembly in the last 2-3 years, addressed the assembly whenever required from his residence over video link. I can't really see him taking over as the opposition leader. He would rather nominate someone senior as the opposition leader and remain a party chief and keep himself confined to Naveen Nivas, which is his residence, but without over dependence on Pandian as he used to do till the elections. I'm sure he must have realized.
Is retirement a probability also?
Retirement from politics?
Yeah.
I don't think he can retire in the immediate future. But in case he decides to take complete break from politics, I think BJD will crumble, fall like a pack of cards. even if he decides to stay on, it will be extremely difficult for him to keep the party intact in the shape that it is today, because there are a lot of knives which will now come out against Pandian.
And next we talk about Trinamool Congress pushing back against the BJP in West Bengal. Despite widespread speculation and discussions over the ruling TMC facing anti-incumbency, the BJP lost ground in the state on Tuesday, with its tally decreasing from 18 to 12 seats. The party, which achieved its best ever result 5 years ago, experienced its second significant setback in the state following the loss in the assembly elections 3 years ago. Meanwhile, the Trinamool Congress maintained its dominance in the state politics, benefiting from the way votes got polarized in the state. To find out more about the reasons behind this, Indian Express's Premankur Biswas speaks to political analyst Jayanta Ghoshal, who has been writing about the state for the past 40 years.
Firstly, let's delve straight away into the numbers. 12 for BJP, 29 for Trinamool, and 1 for Congress. How do you see this?
Actually, we should accept the fact that BJP is a major success story in West Bengal. Because in West Bengal, BJP was completely zero. And now they have 77 MLAs and they are the main opposition force. But the main reasons behind this success of Trinamool and the setback of BJP's expectation, that number one, that BJP could not become the Bengalis party. First of all, you have to be Roman when you are in Rome. So the BJP tried to implement the North India or whole pan-India, pan-BJP strategy in Bengal. But every state has its own criteria, characteristics. And your strategy should be on the basis of that psychology of Bengalis. And even this Ram Mandir issue, I'm not discussing why it didn't take place in Ajodhya also. But in Bengal, Dakshineshwar Mandir and Kalighat, it is more important than Ajodhya. Because that doesn't mean that Bengalis are anti-Ram. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also used to worship Raghuvir and Ramchandra. In Kathamrita, everywhere Ramchandra is there. But the Bengali psyche, it's more pluralistic religion, and it's not hardcore, hawk, Hindutva line. If one Bengali can be Hindu, being an atheist also. An atheist, and you can be Marxist, but you are Hindu in Bengali. There is no conflict. BJP doesn't have the organizational capability in Bengal. What they have in UP or even Madhya Pradesh, because they're organizationally weak. Narendra Modi has a strong brand equity, but that brand equity you have to communicate to the remote places. And Mamata Banerjee, you don't know because it is not highly publicized. Because Abhishek Banerjee, he does it. Each and every village through agency. Actually, what BJP does in other states, TMC does it is in Bengal. They have also IT cell. They have Abhishek Banerjee. He does surveys not only by this IPAC. Everybody knows that IPAC is working, but they have 2-3 other organizations, private organizations they hire, and lot of surveys. I mean, a 1 week survey, 1 month survey. One incident occurred like Sandesh Khali. Immediately they did a survey, and they have done sting operation on Sandesh Khali. So these are the politics. Actually, we are accustomed that BJP can do these things, but TMC also did this thing as a tit for tat politics. So there are several other reasons also, but these are the main reasons that BJP lost the plot.
Now, I just want to, probe further and figure out the region-wise of Bengal. It was in the past few years, it was established that the north of Bengal is where BJP is stronger, and South of Bengal is where Trinamool is stronger. But this time we see, TMC has, in a way, made inroads in North Bengal, right? Because it won Kuch Bihar, where Nishit Pramanik lost. So do you think that is some story that is unfolding there? What do you have to say about that?
Yes, very interesting question indeed. Because, two things I will mention. One is this CAA. It has become counterproductive. And Nishit was the Home Minister state and he campaigned, this citizenship issue, and especially in the border area of Bangladesh. But Mamata Banerjee's campaign was based on the anxiety and the scared mind of Muslim. And the Muslim community, thanks to CA, it has become more consolidated. BJP could not consolidate the Hindu vote of Bengal. As I discussed, that Bengali Hindus are different from the UP Hindu. And it is very difficult to consolidate vote bank, Hindu vote bank in Bengal. It's very difficult. But in Muslim, 30% Muslim vote bank become consolidated because they're scared. Mamata Banerjee was saying that for this CA and NRC, the consequence of CA, you have to go to Pakistan. You have to go to Bangladesh if you vote BJP. So the people of North Bengal thought that BJP is not doing the justice for them. So it's a very complicated and peculiar situation.
Also, now let's get into the vote share. TMC's vote share climbed from 43 to 45.76. So, where was this coming from? Is it mostly the Muslim vote that is traditionally that goes to Mamata, or do you think that where has this increase been? If you could,
it is very difficult to dissect the percentage of vote. Because we have to go more in-depth studies. But for my experience, I am subject to correction that last time those votes went to CPM and the other party, even BJP, because I told you that Muslim vote, now it has become en bloc to TMC. Like there is a Hindu vote, people thought that this Ramakrishna Mission, Sevasram Sangha, and the politics of Sadhu and Kanyakumari ka visit, it will consolidate the Hindu vote. But I have seen the Bengali vote bank, they didn't like the politicization of the religion. So it became the other way around. I think sometimes the strategy should be more covert. BJP's overt approach, Mamata became more victim. And Mamata's team started campaign that Delhi is more anti-Delhi. And Bengali, I feel, for last 40 years I'm covering Bengal, that there is an element of radicalism in the Bengali DNA. There is an element of anti-Delhi mindset. The local character, you have to adapt and assimilate. That BJP could not. Rather, the Bengali leaders, to please the Delhi leaders, they became more Delhi style in BJP.
Like Loke Chatterjee being so.
They become more Jai Sri Ram, and they have become alienated from the Bengali ethos.
Absolutely.
That is the problem. Bengal BJP should get the autonomy for their own strategy.
Talking about Bengali ethos, we come to you about Mamata Banerjee, and you are the domain expert on it. The enduring appeal of Mamata Banerjee for Bengal, which flummoxes rest of India. and how we keep writing her down, and she keeps emerging as this, force to reckon with. If you could break that down for us, I mean, again, people were saying that, this is it. This might be the time when, she loses some sort of significance in Bengal, but yet she emerged. And it's again, we have these headlines saying that, Mamata Banerjee surprises. But why are we repeatedly surprised by Mamata Banerjee?
I think Mamata Banerjee's popularity and the reach out strategy and the capability against CPM, it was more. Because that time she was opposition leader and she ousted CPM. Amit Shah told the BJP local leaders inside meeting that you have to behave like the opposition leader Mamata Banerjee to oust the ruling Mamata Banerjee. That tenacity, that dedication, that pro-people. Now you can say that after 10 years, anti-incumbency is a law of nature and BJP is trying to oust her. Even after this defeat also, I know that BJP from tomorrow, they will start the new strategy, new enthusiasm for 2026. That is the BJP's character. It's a good as a party. People think that she is a spontaneous leader. She has spontaneity. She never gives speech seeing anything in the computer or like that. She's a extempore person. So that is a Mamata's USP. And that in this election also, it paid.
Another thing that every journalist from Express who covered Bengal watches for is the fact that the welfare scheme of Mamata, especially Lokhir Bhandar, that initiative which benefits women of Bengal, is a roaring success. It is something that has been a success all across, unanimous success. So do you think that Lokhir Bhandar by itself had the ability to counter a lot of other anti-incumbency, a lot of other things that people...
Yeah, it's correct. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. And I'm telling you the latest social media campaign. The BJP is saying that the Mamata Banerjee making the Bengali people beggars. This is not the proper economic growth. The Renaissance city. We are dreaming the Renaissance city, but not giving dole to the beggars like Lakshmi Bhandar. And the counter reaction in the social media. The reaction is that try to respect the opinion of the majority. Don't ridicule us as beggars. We are beggars, but don't disrespect the beggars because we are the beneficiaries. We are taking it for our economic prosperity. So we are taking the Shastro Shakti card for the medical service. So don't ridicule us and give respect to the majority's opinion. So this is the allegation and the counter allegation. Still, it is on today. So I think this is the Mamata's perspective that we are doing it. It's a more class approach of the Marxist, the downtrodden, have not. When this hard reform cannot resolve this, and now it is a transition time. Now, before that industrial growth, industrial development, we should give these poor people this dole so that they can match with this higher income growth people.
One last question, and you had mentioned it earlier too, but I just want to focus on it a bit briefly. Sandesh Khali, we all thought that this is. Do you think the pan-India journalists thought Sandesh Khali was bigger than it was? What was the case? Because it really clearly didn't have any bearings in Boshirhat, where the constituency where it is, because Trinamool won it. So and Rekha Patra lost.
And this sting operation also neutralized the BJP's campaign. So this is the strategy and the counter narrative. It's a very interesting political laboratory, Sandesh Kali. BJP tried to make it Nandigram.
Yes.
What Mamata did with the Nandigram, BJP thought that it is not only Sandesh Kali, it will work for the whole state. Sandesh Kali, if we win or doesn't win, that's not issue, but the whole state will win. But that didn't take place.
And in the end, we talk about China's reaction to NDA's win in the Lok Sabha elections. The Bharatiya Janata Party won 240 of the 543 seats, and the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance is comfortably above the majority 272 mark as per the results announced on Tuesday. China yesterday congratulated Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the victory of the BJP-led NDA coalition and said that both the countries should look to the future to advance bilateral relations that have been frozen since the Galwan incident 4 years ago. Relations between the two countries hit a low except for trade ever since the Eastern Ladakh border standoff erupted on May 5th, 2020, following a violent clash in the Pangong Lake area near Galwan. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning told a media briefing, quote, "We noted the results of India's general elections and extend congratulations on the victory of the BJP led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the National Democratic Alliance." Unquote. She also added, quote, "A healthy and stable China-India relationship is in the interest of both the countries and conducive to the space and the development in the region and beyond." Unquote. She also mentioned that China is ready to work with India to act in the fundamental interests of both the countries, bearing in mind the overall interest of the Indo-China ties and advancing bilateral relations on a healthy and stable track. Since the 2020 clashes, the two sides have so far held 21 rounds of corps commander level talks to resolve the standoff. According to the Chinese military, the two sides so far agreed to disengage from 4 points, namely the Galwan Valley, the Pangong Lake, Hot Springs and Jianandaban, that is Gogra, in eastern Ladakh. Meanwhile, India is pressing the People's Liberation Army to disengage from the Dipsang and Demchok areas, maintaining that there cannot be restoration of normalcy in the relations with China as long as the state of the borders remain abnormal. For its part, China continues to maintain that the boundary question does not represent the entirety of China-India relations and it should be placed appropriately in bilateral relations and managed properly. In April this year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in an interview said, quote, "It is my belief that we need to urgently address the prolonged situation on our borders so that the abnormality in our bilateral interactions can be put behind us. Stable and peaceful relations between India and China are important for not just the two countries but for the entire region and world." Unquote. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by Shashank Bhargav and me, Niharika Nanda. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.